We're going to start them off with one of these, and then we're going to give them another one of these.
And if you guys cannot count,
That's
that means that is 6, and that means that this is episode 6 of the Backroad Banter podcast.
Yeah, and you're not crazy. My background does look different. I'm in a different place. Much better lighting. I don't look nearly as dead. I don't have the arm for my microphone. It's been a hell of a day, but that'll be a story for a long time from now. That'll be a story for a later date. Yeah, I think we can get into the usual weekly recap, dude. What'd you get into with your week, man?
Yeah, man. Oh, shoot. So since we posted last, really just doing a lot of work up at the college up at or university, quote unquote university. But just doing a lot of work and chilling with Faith and Layla. We really didn't do much this weekend. Trying to think back on it, really, the only thing that I can think about last week that was super exciting outside of, whatever time I may spend here at home was I'm just excited for this this project that I got coming up with admissions with their international students. I get to work. I get to head up the international campaign for the university, and I get to focus in Spain. And the coolest part about it is that Colby is the person over international students in admissions, so I get to work with Colby really tight knit, and we're going to create commercials and videos, and I'm just looking forward to it. It's all I've been thinking about.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. That'll be pretty sweet. That's cool that it's cool that you get to work with Colby.
Oh man,
that's something that you've been able to say that you've done in a sense since you were a toddler.
Yeah, we have always been right there, and it's so cool because every time we see each other, we always talk, and especially whenever it's just in the bullshit little beginning and in semester meetings that the university has or whatever. But this is the first time in since I started and he started, so almost a year that we've ever actually had any contact work related, and it's really cool to see how passionate he is about it, because just that first meeting he had with me just kind of he went over everything, and man, he is just so put together and so professional and so enthusiastic about about this, and it was just really cool to see from him, from somebody that I've known forever and somebody that's been my best friend forever, or, a best friend since kindergarten. So it's cool. But that's really about it, honestly. I think I went to Walmart more times than I did anything else exciting.
Really?
Or maybe not Walmart, but I went shopping more times than anything and got nothing but groceries, basically. Some stuff for Layla's party, which is going to be awesome. We already have 2 to 3 golf games. I bought a couple chipping games, big chipping mats to play. I'm going to bring some putter games. Super excited for that. But yeah, that's about it, man. How was your weekend? How was your week? And then tell me about your weekend, because we already talked. You snapped me a little bit about it, but I'm really excited to hear about this weekend.
The week was long. It was a lot of prep. It was long but short, so I didn't work Friday. Is when I hit the road. But yeah, I worked long hours to make up for my Friday absence. I didn't want to eat any PTO, and I had the opportunity to just work longer instead, so I took that opportunity. And then so the week sucked. Even when I wasn't at work, I was either at the gym or I was at the damn store buying stuff for the trip, or at home doing laundry for the trip, or doing the show. That was Monday evening, or Tuesday evening, whichever evening we did it last week. That ate up that day. Every other day was just trip prep. And then Friday we hit the road, bright and early, 7 a.m. I almost want the trip to get its own segment, but yeah, no.
We can throw that into its own segment, because honestly, I have things technically about your trip, but we could honestly just kick off with it. Let's just kick off with it, and this will be the first segment. We'll just talk about the
so
let everybody know what you were at.
All in all, my week was good. It was long, it was good, and that's how my week went.
And then to start off our week, the weekend, starting off Friday, I went to Indianapolis, Indiana. I went to go watch the 2025 Royal Rumble.
And while that was fun, that is not. That's actually not what hardly any of my notes are about. My notes were. I did take notes for my trip because I wanted to remember all of it because it was a lot.
That's
so,
hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
I have a list. It's really the only notes I did this week. Everything else is just stuff that I remember, stuff that I've heard. But the first thing I have written down, I took the trip notes just like I take the show notes. I wrote, "Foggy as fuck." It's the first thing I got, and that's no joke, dude. It was foggy as hell for the first. I want to say hour and a half, 2 hours of the trip.
I'm not gonna lie. Half of me, I was like, Illinois. He's talking about the state. I also at first, or Indiana, I thought just because you were driving through all these cities, but then it totally went. I was like, I thought your guys' minds were foggy. You're like,
no,
just out of it, man.
No, I mean mine was my mind was foggy, but the no, the road was very foggy, and I had to ask Joss. I was like, hey, what? I said, all this fog's here, right? I was like, this isn't this isn't just my brain. So all this fog's real. She's like, yeah, you can't see anything. We stopped in Columbus for a store. We stopped at a store.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I love stores. Stores are great.
Stopped at, I don't want to say Ohio exclusive stores, but we don't have them where either of us live. But I stopped at a store in Ohio. It wasn't foggy at that point. At least not at the stop.
Yeah.
But we stopped in Columbus, man, and I've heard a lot of good things about Columbus. I have. I've heard a lot of great things about the city of Columbus. People say it's really nice. I've always heard Nate hype it up. Now, I will believe everybody, because I didn't go to Columbus. That wasn't where the trip was. But where we stopped, it was not good. It was not good, dude. I stopped at the single sketchiest gas station I've ever stopped at in my life. And I've been to cities before. I live in one. Like, I've been to cities before, so it's not like, oh, this is new and I've never seen a sketchy gas station. Like, I've seen sketchy gas stations. This one, like,
there was a little more so.
There was cardboard all over the floor. The door barely fucking opened. It was just the most, I don't even know the word to call it. It was just the most nasty looking gas station I've ever seen in my life, dude. It was terrible. I just went in to use their ATM because I needed cash for the store, and then
that's an awful thing to probably use that at that.
It was terrible. I was like, we got to stop at a gas station somewhere. I said, I guess just stop at this one. It's closest. Like, we don't know where we're going. We don't know where we're at. We've never been to Columbus, so we just stopped at the closest one, and that was a terrible idea. And I got out of it. Like, thank God it was like 10 a.m. because if it wasn't, I would have been like, If it was like nighttime, I'd have been freaking out. I probably wouldn't have gone in. It was a sketchy place, man.
Does it look like it would be put up? Does it look worse than River Street houses?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
It looks like if they were to put a gas station on River Street, it would look like it would be that one.
Oh, okay.
Copy and paste that one.
Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
That's how sketchy that gas station was. And, it was terrible. The whole, area that we were in was terrible, except for the store that we went to. The store was nice and brand new because it was just put in over the summer. But everything around it was either falling apart or being rebuilt. And it was just a rough looking part of town. So, my trip wasn't to Columbus, but we stopped there, and we didn't have a good few minutes that we were there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the only people that go to Columbus are for weightlifting and the zoo. So if you didn't stop for either one of those, that's probably why you hit the bad parts of town.
I also didn't go to see an Ohio State football game, so I guess that's it.
Oh, there you go.
I wrote this. I don't think I'm gonna elaborate on it because I think you know what I mean. There'll be a very select few people that know what we mean, but I wrote, I prestiged on the drive.
Dude, congratulations!
And I prestiged on the drive. Yeah, I got all the way up to level 55 or whatever it is, and then I.
Yep. You then I reached buttons, and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this set of guns, And you guys can take the rest. I want this medal.
I got so incredibly leveled up, if you will, that I reset at level 1.
That I'm going to be honest. That is, especially at our age, that is incredible.
Yeah, shout out to the
awesome.
store. Shout out to the store. Yeah, and then we hit the road for quite a while. We get closer to Indiana, and we come across 2 very peculiar signs. There's a I don't want to make fun of it because I looked it up. Apparently, this was a guy. This was a person, no longer with us. Very, I guess I want to say locally famous. Did a lot of like good stuff. Like he was like a business owner that did like a lot of good stuff with his money. So I'm not going to shit on this guy, but his name is unfortunate. And they named a road after him. So I see this sign on the thing. I can actually send you a picture of it, just so people know I'm not making stuff up. We can throw it in here, but I'll send you a picture of it after the show.
Yeah.
And it's called Tom Raper Way.
Oh, Tom Raper.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he had to be successful.
He had to. He
had
had to.
to
Like
be
he had no other options. Yeah. If he
had to
wasn't
be
successful,
successful.
he was fucked.
Yeah.
So
There
shouts
are
out
not-
to Tom.
There are a lot of Mr. Rapers that have Netflix documentaries. There are not a lot of Mr. Rapers that probably have towns dedicated to him.
Yeah.
Um,
I might even be saying the name wrong, but that's how it's spelled. I don't
Okay.
know how else you could say it.
Well, the only other way would be rapper, realistically, right?
And unless he's French or something, but he lived in Indiana. So
Rapper.
I don't know. I wouldn't even know how that would work. So
Okay.
I don't know French. I might just be making shit up. But right down the road from that sign was the Uranus Fudge Factory.
Bro, I bet that was First of all, you know that they did that on purpose.
Oh, they 100% did it on
know
purpose.
they
They had
did that
so
on
many
purpose.
funny signs. They said there was one sign that says we're having a blast here in Uranus.
If the university would ever let us come up with some funny puns, that would be awesome to just start throwing out across the states. Man,
I don't.
that is good advertising.
Oh, I also got a picture of the Uranus Fudge Factory, and I will send that to you as well. We could throw it in here.
Oh, I'd love to. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then we have this big stretch of road in Indiana. Indiana is, if you've never traveled through it,
Nope.
is a big stretch of road. That
Just a road.
that's all it is. It is just big stretches of roads and farms. And well, we're traveling there for a while, and neither one of us really said anything about it. But we smelled something funny. We couldn't tell what it was. It smelled a little off, and it gets stronger and stronger. We smelled this for like 15 minutes, and finally, I forget which one of us said something, but one of us is like, "All right, I know what it smells like now. It smells like dog food." And it did, dude. The whole air just reeked of dog food, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And we're heading down the highway, and then I'm just sitting there. She's looking at the road, not paying attention. I'm looking down at my phone, and I look up. I look to my left, and I said, "Ah." And there's just a giant, the blue brand, the blue dog food factory just in the middle of the road. So we're inhaling dog food air for about 20 minutes. I have no idea where it's coming from. We both think we're going insane because we're like, okay, we're in our minds, we're near farms. Like, we might be smelling animals and animal waste. And but we're like, that's not what it smells like though. It smells like something else. And we couldn't put our finger on it until we did. But then that just didn't make any sense. But then we just saw a big ass dog food factory. Not even a funny part of the story. It just blew my mind. I'd never seen a dog food factory.
No.
I'd never seen much of anything factory other than, the old steel mills downtown Pittsburgh. But
Dude, you know what's really odd is before you said dog food factory, that's what popped into my mind for one reason and one reason only. That 70s show,
oh yeah, he worked at one and he came home smelling like dog food
Eric
every day.
worked at one, and he talked about how everything in there smelled. And if you think like McDonald's smells, but we're not at a McDonald's factory, we're at a tiny little shop,
Yeah.
So, and then like on top of that, for you guys to be able to smell that, the amount of actual dog food particles that are in the air getting through your guys' vehicle while you're traveling however many miles away from it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's no way that's healthy.
No, that's what I thought. That was like the first thing that came to mind. I was like, dude, I couldn't imagine working there. That'd be miserable.
Imagine living in that area. Was there anybody around?
There's a couple houses, but they're real spread out. Yeah, there was a couple houses just on like the farmland. That's how the houses were. Just if
Yeah.
like as you're going across 70 and you just look to your left, you're right in Indiana, you'll see a house, you'll see a whole shitload of farmland, then eventually you'll see another house.
That's northern Ohio too. That's how northern Ohio.
That's how a lot of Ohio looked as we went through it as well. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. That's crazy. That's just nasty. I don't know. That's
It was weird going from state to state and not being able to tell.
because there wasn't that much of a difference in change after you got out of here.
No, here was different. When I got like, because I'm used to going from Pennsylvania to West Virginia, you notice a little bit of change the second you cross the state line. You notice a little bit of change in scenery at least. We went through, and I'm also used to going to the surrounding states when you definitely see a change in scenery.
Yeah.
Like when we left Pennsylvania and got to Ohio, like it got very different. We got from Ohio to Indiana. If I didn't see the sign, I would have had no idea. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird because we're used to because I know some states, like I know a lot of states are like that, but like we're used to, we're from the mountains and that's the state line is the mountains and the rivers and stuff. Like whenever we cross into a state, we're usually crossing one of these landmarks.
Where is Indiana located wise?
On the other side of Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So we drove from here down to like Washington, Pennsylvania. We got on 70 and went through Wheeling, and then so we were in West Virginia for a little bit, and we went to Ohio, Indiana.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, that was the travel. Nothing really else eventful happened on the travel. We just saw some funny stuff, made some jokes. I didn't write all of them down. I did Prestige in the drive. That was a highlight. Then
Oh, man.
we skipped to.
This is just a sidebar, but if we need to have a freaking trip sometime for us, and we need to have a podcast in the car.
That'd be sick. That'd be really
Bro,
good, actually. That'd be really fun.
That would be so much fun and so easy to do. I tested out those portable mics that I got for us to do when we golf or whenever I golf with anybody, and they work really good. I walked way farther away than what we will be from our phones.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'll forget about that. But that would be
No, dude, that is a good idea. We do have to keep that in mind. We'll do that for a special number of some kind.
Yeah.
We'll plan it ahead of time. We'll do that when we get to like 50 or something. That'd be neat.
That'd be great.
Even 25. But
Yeah.
Then we get there. Pretty seamless check-in, everything. No stories there. Just went and got food, drinks, and stuff. We go downtown for the show. Flatland cold is a different animal. Being in a flat state in a flat city, that kind of cold is a whole different beast.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd actually seen a few things about this, and this was at the end of the event that you'd went to, but it was just people complaining about how freaking cold it was and how there was absolutely no transportation available in this state after a certain time or something, just because like nobody's out and about at this time, I guess. I don't know, but a lot of people were just complaining about the temperatures, and I didn't really think anything of it until I saw the huge amount of crowd that was waiting around on the sides of the streets, and I was like, holy.
We're sitting there dying, dude. But I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so we went to the Friday show too. We went to the just the little TV shows in the Gamebridge Fieldhouse where the Pacers play.
Mm-hmm.
So we went there, and Friday night was pretty seamless. But the first place that we went before we went to the show, actually, I misread my notes. I wrote dumbass bag rules, so we're gonna get to those. So I didn't bring it with me. I didn't. If I had recorded at home, I would have it, but I didn't bring it with me. So I go for first place we go after we eat and leave the hotel and everything, is we go across the street from the show to the Indiana Convention Center where they got all the big merchandise store there and stuff. and we went in there. I got a shirt that I'm not wearing because it's dirty. I wore it at the shirt. I wore it at the show. I was gonna wear it at this show, but we recorded a day early. That was on me. And then I got a shirt, and then I got a hoodie that was the exact same size. Shirt fits perfectly. The hoodie did not come anywhere close to fitting me.
Too small or big?
It was way too small, so I gave it to Jocelyn. So she got a free hoodie. But anyway, that's not the point of the thing. The point of the thing is we're on the way out, and they're selling show-themed bags. They're selling Royal Rumble-themed reusable bags. I said, that's great. I will use that all weekend. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I only bought one shirt and one hoodie. Fortunately. Because I leave. I go across the street to the show. And I go get in line for tickets, and the security lady comes up to me. And she says, hey, I don't, like, they're not going to let you in there with that bag. And I said, they're not going to let me in here with this bag. And I said, she's like, yeah, like, it has to be clear. I said, they're not going to let me in here with the bag that they sold me directly across the street. I was like, I bet you they sell them in there. And she was like, well, I don't know what they have inside. And I was like, I know you don't. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad. Like, this is really fucking dumb. Like, why are they even selling these not clear bags across the street from the goddamn show if you can't get them in? But fortunately, like I said, I only bought one shirt. So what I did is I took that shirt out of the bag. I put it in my hoodie pocket. I took that bag, I rolled it up, and I put it in my pants pocket. And I got into the show with the bag. And then when I got in the show, I broke it back out and put all my stuff back in it. And I was like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Well, I'm going to comment on that. I'll tell you exactly why they didn't. Because you are inside of a professional sporting arena, whereas because of understanding safety cautions, they won't let you have anything but clear bags. And the reason why Raw or WWE probably did it is because there's cheap F words who already printed those freaking bags whenever
I want you to buy another one when you get in there.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing because they're like, I mean, it's not the first time that they've had this stuff at a professional sporting arena. It's the same at all arenas, for all sports.
Here's my opinion.
Across the board now.
Here's my opinion. I totally understand the clear bag thing, like you said, the safety precautions and shit like that. I totally get it. But I think if you roll up to that show with a bag that the company that is putting on the show sold you across the street from the venue you're at, they should at least check it. I understand not checking every damn solid bag that everybody tries to bring in, but a merch bag across the street, who is going to the store, buying merch, going back to wherever the fuck they're staying, and then coming all the way back to the show?
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that.
I would really like to... I know they would never do this because the percentage of returns would actually be high, but I would like to know what the percentage would be if they offered the opportunity to be like, oh, you guys can't do, well, I'll tell you what, you can't bring that in, but I'll buy it back to you for like $2 less than what you bought it for.
Or if they just handed out little vouchers, they're like, oh, okay, you bought this across the street. Like, well, here's a voucher to get a new one when you get
That's
in there.
a smarter thing to do.
Yeah. And then they can just reuse those ones.
That's a more honest thing to do. Mm-hmm. That's the more honest and the more fair to the fan and the consumer, especially for the price of wrestling events now. It's kind of ridiculous how wrestling events are more expensive than like real non-stage sports, non-scripted sports. Yeah. It's really grown that much. It's awesome.
Yeah, the TV shows aren't that much. Like the tickets I bought to go to SmackDown were like $30 a piece.
Really?
But the Royal Rumble tickets were steep. Yeah.
That's still, I mean, $30. That's like 6 times more expensive than what Pirates tickets are.
That's true. Yeah, man. I thought that bag rule was horse shit.
That's crazy. It definitely is. I'm glad you threw that in there just because I'm sure they are not the only, organization to do that, to screw people over like that.
And I know for a fact that didn't only happen to me. There's no way I'm the only person that happened to.
Oh, dude, I bet that happened to everybody. Mm-hmm. Honestly, no. It's weird. You did it only buying 2 items. you know there's a lot of people that got bags. That
Had a
got
bag full.
multiple.
Were with like their kids and stuff, and bought all their kids shit.
Yeah.
And like had this full bag, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, nice." And then they're like, "Oh, you can't bring that in here." Like, what do you mean I can't bring this in here?
Yeah. Yeah. That's complete BS. That's Yeah, well, okay, we'll do better, but either WWE or Indianapolis, one of the two. You guys need to do
Gainbridge Fieldhouse or whoever's over charge of that, and
I
Lucas
did-
Oil Stadium. They did it at Lucas Oil Stadium too, but I knew better. I didn't get anything that time.
You did say we got to give props, so I'm going to give a shout out to him just from what Wyatt told me. Obviously, I've seen pictures, but that doesn't mean shit. Apparently, it was very nice. It was a very nice place, though. Like,
Oh, Gainbridge Fieldhouse was
Yes.
incredible. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I don't think I got any pictures on the inside of that because I was too busy in the crowd trying to not get ran over. But
that's okay. We can find some free on Google and just throw 'em up to show.
it's oh my god, dude, it looks insane. Like I stepped through the doors of that thing and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I've only ever been to the Q in Cleveland, back when it was the Q. It's not the Q anymore. It's Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse or some shit.
Yep.
But it's still the same arena. But that's like professional basketball wise is the only place I've ever been. So yeah, seeing the Gainbridge Fieldhouse, like I'm a Cavs fan till the day I die, and fuck the Pacers because I'm a Cavs fan. But they got a nice arena over there in Indy, man. It's a beautiful arena.
That's the cool thing about being a sports fan, and if you're not into sports, the best thing is it's 2025, so they are literally performing anything and every thing at these venues in the off seasons.
Yeah.
So you could get anything there, but like, it is getting to enjoy these different atmospheres and the different architectural like coolness to each one. That I don't know. Have you ever been to Cincinnati Bengals Stadium?
No, I haven't. I've heard good things. I've heard it's
I was
cool.
only ever at it one time, and it was for a preseason game. But my gosh, dude! Like, as somebody that's been to 3 Steelers games, man, it kicks Heinz Field's butt by like, which like it's because of the age and because of like, I don't know. It's just crazy. So I've never been to an NBA stadium at all. So it's cool that you technically have now been to 2.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I've been to 2 NFL stadiums now too.
Oh, because you were
that's
at
where I
Lucas
went
Oil?
Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, that place is nuts. I will get to that in a second. It actually might be right now.
I bet that place is way better than the Steelers stadium.
The first thing I'm going to touch on before I get in there, this is while I was waiting in line for there. You kind of touched on it earlier and how damn cold it was, but it's insane because I've seen it twice now, 2 different cities. So I went to in August. I went to SummerSlam with my brother. I went to the Royal Rumble this past weekend. It's crazy to see how many people travel to town for these events. My hotel was full of nothing but people going to the Royal Rumble. I have been in 2 cities that you like, just the whole downtown gets shut down because you can't move through it because there are 60, 70, 80,000 people walking through it to go to a wrestling show. It's insane. Like,
I'm just gonna throw it in here. I've never been to a wrestling show, unfortunately. I think I went to. Didn't we do? Wasn't there something in Charleston when we were like 12?
there was something at the college when we were like 12. TNA Impact was at the college.
Was that with
whenever
the
we were, like,
Hardys?
yeah. Jeff Hardy was there.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I've been
Jeff
to,
Hardy
like,
still wrestles for them right now.
really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say still like he did the whole time, but he
Dang.
does again right now. Yeah.
Well, props to him because if nobody knows who he is, just Google the guy and then look at his age. He should not be doing it.
Oh, dude, I think if they don't know who Jeff Hardy is, they probably skip through this whole segment. They're like, I don't give a fuck at all about this wrestling show.
Yeah. Well, back to what you were saying though, dude. That is shoot. What were you saying? Jeff Hardy. I got sidetracked with wrestling because it's,
the city takeover that I've seen in 2 cities now. It's just crazy to see how it happens, man.
Yes. To that, it's really funny because I've noticed it through social media because you can look through social media followers. There are 2 like genres of people that are slept on in terms of commitment to fan or the fan commitment. and that is, and I'm not going just WWE because there's so many forms of wrestling.
There's so many different
But
ones.
wrestling in any sort of like Comic Con dress, like anything like that, anything toy related, because it's something that a parent at any age can relate to their child with.
Yeah.
Now, we as an adult, I know this because I could go get them, and I would love to show you guys. I'm a freaking dork. I just got in all 3 sets of 1995 Micro Machines. They're special edition Star Wars machines. I got all 3 movie sets, and they're the full 8 sets. I'm just such a collection dork, but it's to that point of like, I think we're really slept on it. But what's brought my attention to the wrestling part is social media nowadays. Like, it's my biggest reason why I'm not a fan of wrestling as much as I used to be, is because I see too much backstage stuff. I see too much of the scriptedness, or of like the wrestlers outside of their persona interviews. So like, you realize that it's more play than what it was as a kid, you know?
Now you still have some guys that'll do like interviews in like full character.
Yes.
And it gets kind of funny because the person's asking questions like, "Come on, you know what I'm talking about," and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm telling you."
Yeah. But within that, like, what I don't like is exactly what, like, dude, just look at, I don't know what it is. Look at the Instagram following for any of the wrestling stuff, including the what's that new ECW? Is that the kind of new wrestling?
ECW is the real old one. ECW is the one from like the 90s and the 2000s.
Oh, I must
they
have
ran
watched
in Philly.
Huh. What am I thinking of? The hardcore one.
The newest one would be AEW.
AEW, sorry, that's what I was thinking. The W got. So like, I bet they've got a shitload of fans just because. Social media allows you to market yourself so much more and so much easier. And like, what I just said, I don't like, is exactly what kids do like. They're getting insights to these people that they want. Like, I just want the fake slamming their bodies, like the real hits and everything, which we'll get to because I have something I want to talk about. But
did you see any clips from the thing?
It's actually something I wanted to ask you about, man. I saw I Show Speeds.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I've watched that. I don't know who's posted it. If you've posted it on Instagram and it's on my timeline, I've gotten you at least 6 views in a row every time I've seen it.
Dude.
Because it is by far, including football hits, the hardest spear I have ever seen in my life.
That was
performed
insane.
on anybody.
That
and
was
the
insane.
fact that, like, if you go and watch the one, it's all over. I actually thought you took the video, Wyatt, because it sounded like you said like how you say "oh." I thought it was you that recorded this freaking video.
If it wasn't followed up by like a whole bunch of swear words, then it wasn't me. My initial reaction was, "Oh, fuck!" I was shocked, dude. That hurt me watching that shit. I was mind blown. I didn't have that recorded. I should have. The reason I didn't is my whole section was standing up. Like, the stadium blew up for that guy. And
I don't care for him personally.
I don't
but it's
either.
because I don't care for streamers. You guys aren't talented. I don't care if you get views. You're not talented in any way. You don't deserve anything you have. But, bro, you deserve the paycheck you made that night because.
Oh my God! Every goodness.
And I saw like a backstage thing whenever he came out and Logan Paul was asking to lick his dick or something, and he was like,
that might be true. I'm not sure.
He showed his calf muscle and he just showed his skin peeled off, and I was like, dude, nobody cares about a rug burn. I want to see like his ribs have to be swollen.
Dude, he got hit so fucking hard.
That's just to me, whenever I saw the videos of that, I was like, man, I bet in person that killed the place. Like,
dude, everybody loved it.
Oh,
everybody loved it, and
that
then
was awesome.
Everybody loved it, and then that guy that does that spear, he always does this thing where he starts barking, so they fucking speared him, and then like at least my section just started barking. I was like, that was fucking sick. Dude, he hit that guy so hard. That was one of the highlights of the show for sure.
I
I
think that's
saw
the only thing I saw, though. Honestly,
I saw that the ladder match that was before the main event was fucking insane. That was crazy too.
who
That
was
was
that
uh
with?
that was Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
Oh, I did not see that.
Those guys did some crazy shit. They just like I don't even know like where to start or how to explain most of it, but those guys just kept bouncing each other off of ladders. They just kept setting ladders up different ways and fucking throwing each other on top of them. And the match
Best
ended.
thing,
Match ended with they were over on the announce table and they had the ladder bridged between the table and the ring. And they stood up on the announce table and fucking Cody Rhodes picked him up and fucking slammed him through the ladder and he landed like on the top of his head on the way down.
oh
The
my
the
gosh.
ladder broke and then he was just like laying there dead. Whenever they brought him up, he had like a bunch of cuts and scrapes on his face and shit. Yeah, dude,
See?
that was pretty nuts.
See, it's that, and that's the only reason why I'm still a fan as an adult is because it is scripted. But those guys,
Some
are
of those guys
real,
will fuck themselves up.
and every single one of them. Like, I don't like to not credit. Like, they are still top of the world athletes. Like every single one of them. I don't like the discredit of like, oh, it's all fake, so there's nothing to it. Like, there is a lot of skill set still to like the art of professional wrestling, and man, just from like, I mean, shoot, let's go say on average they work, what is there? Probably 200. They probably work 250 days a year. Would you say?
They used to. I think they cut it down now to where like the guys that work the most are probably over a little over 100, maybe 110 or something.
Oh, okay.
So
So
that-
that's
that,
actually
like-
really good.
That
Wow.
like that leaves them time to like
Man.
train and shit, and also like not die and not become addicted to pills and whatnot.
Well, WWE, if you'd like to gain my viewership, why don't you change your shit back to how it used to be? Because that's the only reason I turned on. I wanted to see guys really, literally kill themselves. You got freaking Stone Cold Steve Austin took himself so seriously that he was literally pissed off at everybody because he thought his writing was shit. Like, dude, you're getting paid. Who cares? Like, he became that person. He is owned Stone Cold.
He did. Dude, Stone Cold's the best.
Oh.
Stone Cold's
Sorry,
the
I
best.
didn't mean to interrupt, man.
No,
Sorry.
dude, you're good. Dude, you're good. I like having your input from the show because I don't want to just sit here and fucking give you a long-winded explanation of the show. Like I had fun. It was a great time, but
Yeah.
it was fucking. It was different. It was a blast. Like I went. I mean, just all the people that were there, like all the people just from our childhood that I saw there was fucking crazy. I saw like Rey Mysterio, CM Punk, John Cena.
Yep.
Um,
The two of those three people that you mentioned, I mean, we've always talked. Rey Mysterio is my favorite wrestler of all time.
yeah, Rey Mysterio is the shit.
I would literally die to have a mask of his.
I was
whenever-
looking to see if they had any luchador masks there at all because they got a few different ones now, but they didn't.
Well,
They didn't have them in the shop. They didn't have them in any shop. The shop sucked, by the way. The
Now
shop
that you
didn't have anything good.
Now that you say that, I actually saw one more clip, and it was the Rey Mysterio match. Did he face another luchador, another high flyer?
No, those two just started off the Royal Rumble, so they were the first two out of the 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they kind of like made a moment out of that because that was kind of cool. Which it was.
Okay.
It was fucking sweet.
Well, I don't know who that other guy is, but I like, because I don't care who you are, there will be nobody more iconic, better than Rey Mysterio to me. Like, just my opinion, just to me. But that guy seems like a really cool personality. Like,
Oh, he's fucking sick, dude.
and I like that he added paint underneath his mask because it's just a little more like, what the fuck are you, bro?
Mhm.
Like,
Freaky
it's just
looking.
a cool effect. Yeah, it was just an extra cool factor. I don't know. I was geeking out over it. It was cool.
I called so many things in the match before they happened. And Jocelyn didn't watch growing up like I did, so she was like, "How do you know all this shit?" I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, man. Some things never change."
Yeah, this isn't like this
Rey
isn't
Mysterio
like-
came out first, and then the very next thing I said was, "I guarantee you that Penta's going to be the guy that comes out next," which that's the other guy. And then
Okay.
and then his music hits, and we saw his name pop up on the board, she was like, she said, how did you know that? I said, I've been doing this for too long. I said,
So if
I
you
knew they were going to do
yeah,
that.
so if you pay attention if you knew at all anything 20 years ago and you still pay attention now, you have a little bit more insight into what's going on.
There's some tropes that just never die that they always stick to, man. Like I don't know how to explain it, but there was at one point where I called like 3 or 4 people in a row as they were coming out. Yeah, it was just because like I just had a feeling. Like I think John Cena came out and I was like, all right, I bet CM Punk's next. Sure enough, CM Punk was next. Like, okay.
Yeah, with it being the Royal Rumble too, you kind of figured that. You kind of figure it's going to be a combo of old stars and then everybody that they want to bring up.
Yeah.
What did you think? Because I saw that John Cena lost. What did you think of that?
What the decision for the winner?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I get it, but I get it because that guy is super over and makes them a shitload of money and sells a bunch of T-shirts and everybody loves him. I get it, but I think you got John Cena that's on his last one. I don't know how you just don't give it to him.
Yeah.
I don't get how you don't give it to John Cena, or even somebody else that's like, I could have probably named, like, as I'm watching, I probably could have named about 4 or 5 people in that I would have preferred, but.
Well, mine again, obviously, because like I said, I'm not a fan to anybody that's watching this or listens. Not a fan more than the outside window fan, but there are nothing against Justin Uso, but the Royal Rumble is not the place to be like, oh yeah, you sell the most shit, you are the best. Like, it is more of an honoring type of match. Like, you want it to be entertaining, and you want to make sure. I don't know. I
think there's some years where you use it for your new guys, and there's some years where you don't. And I think this year you shouldn't have.
Not whenever you have somebody as iconic as a John Cena. Like, as the man that literally got kids to wear jean shorts. Like, yeah, you should probably, and this just leads into it, just because all I saw was social media. I saw his post match press conference.
Oh,
and, just whenever he was talking about that, I watched it a few times and I was just slightly confused because, so like, did he feel dissed?
I don't know. I didn't see the post match thing.
It is.
If I was him, I would have. But I mean, he's probably a much more sensible, reasonable man than I am. But I know
it was
if I
really
was
cool.
him, I'd be pissed.
I highly recommend you or anybody watching it, because he sat down and he literally puts his hands on the table and he said, "So this is how it's going to work tonight. I'm not going to answer anybody's questions. I'm not going to take any questions. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and then I'm going to leave." He said, "I have dedicated my life to this company. I have done everything that I could to be great, and I believe that I've accomplished many things within that, blah, 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 blah." The greatest thing, he just said a bunch of stuff, and then he basically, at the end, he was like, "I'm going to WrestleMania, and I'm going to be the winner of that, because I deserve that.
Yeah.
I deserve to be the winner." So, like, within that, is he saying, like, I'm rewriting the script if it says that I'm not the winner, and just saying, like, I am going to win. Like, no matter what, I have to win? Or, like, is he like, I'm so distasted at how things go? Like, I'm just confused, because obviously we know it's scripted, but is it scripted to the point, like, we've seen outbursts. We've seen people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes those guys turn into real people, and they don't say what they're supposed
careers.
to. Yeah. I think, because in that post, I've watched a few of those post things, just not this one, because I usually watch it when I watch it on TV, and it just like, and I don't even do it on purpose. It's just like the show ends, and then I go down to look at my phone, and then I get to scrolling, and then I look up, and I'm 15 minutes into the press conference.
Yeah.
And, But yeah, like when I was there, like I didn't watch it or anything, but it was sometimes those people go into the press conference and they answer real questions. Sometimes they go in there as their real person they are and not the character they are. And then sometimes they go in there working. And it just depends on who and when and why. And I think he was going in there working. I think that's why he didn't answer any questions, is because he's going in there like, all right, I lost. I get one more chance, because that's the next show is the Elimination Chamber or whatever. He gets one more chance, and then. So I haven't seen it. Maybe if I saw it, I might change my mind. But
I was just looking.
It sounds to me like he's working a little bit.
I'll see if I can find it, but that's kind of the thing that I thought I got from it. But it was also like he seemed so heartfelt that to me it seemed like there was a little bit of distaste in his mouth, and he was speaking honestly in terms of like being upset about things, and I just wasn't sure how he was taking it because I don't pay attention to that stuff enough.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd have been pissed. I will say that. Yeah, all in all, the show was good. Jey Uso won the men's Royal Rumble. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, won the women's one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and
So stupid. That's how you know
the show was fun. Lucas Oil
Folks,
Stadium.
that's how you know
incredible.
it's written. If Ric Flair's daughter,
because Ric Flair's daughter wins everything. Yeah.
Sorry, that's in. Okay, but that's awesome that it was great. Go ahead.
No, the show was a blast. The stadium is fucking incredible. The Lucas Oil Stadium's nuts. It is one of the I've only been in two, so I guess it's obviously one of the nicest football stadiums I've ever been in. But I love the hell out of it. I am jealous of people who get to watch their home games there. I had a lot of fun in Indianapolis, the city itself. But now that the show talk's over, I think I want to talk about honestly the underlying highlights of the show, and that was the food, and the bars.
Cool.
So the food, we didn't really go anywhere special. We went to, let's see, on the way down, we just went to normal places. I think we had Arby's probably 3 times on that trip. So shout out to Arby's. Shout out to Arby's because they kept me alive. So we stopped at Arby's on the way up. We got there. We went and grabbed some dumb bullshit near the hotel. I forget what it was. And then we went to the show, and, that was that. We went somewhere in the middle of the night. I forget where. I was hammered. She was not. I was not driving, and then so we went somewhere in the middle of the night Friday. But then Saturday is when the real food started. So we wake up late Saturday. Not like later than we wanted to, but just later than usual. I'm an old man. I usually get up at the crack of dawn. I got up at probably like 11. And we were like, all right, we got to get some food. Most places aren't selling breakfast, so we're just going to have to settle on lunch. And I'm just Googling fast food around me because we're trying to get downtown because the show starts relatively early. And, we still want to do a couple things before we go.
Yeah.
So we fucking leave. And we just go looking around for places, and we found a place I've never been to before. I said, all right, we're going to have to go. We went to White Castle. Never been to a White Castle in my life, in all my years. And in all the rest of my years, I will never, ever, 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 ever go to another fucking White Castle as long as I live. It sucked. It was so bad. I don't know if it was just like, because I know I've been to fast food places, and sometimes the food's better than other days. Maybe I just went there on a bad day, but I don't give a shit. It doesn't get another chance. That was the worst thing I've ever had. It was so like mushy and soft. It was just like 2 slices of fucking who knows what with like some onions and cheese, and it was just like had the texture of mashed potatoes when you bit into it. It was just so like soggy and gross and fucking. I would rather have the frozen ones from the grocery store, just the frozen White Castle burgers. Like, I'd rather have that. I mean, I know that's exactly what those are, but something about the way they prepare them in the restaurants, god awful.
It's actually probably better the way that you just freaking described it.
Yeah, it was the worst thing ever. And then I guess their mozzarella sticks were good. That was the only thing I got from that trip.
I fucking love cheese sticks.
Which
Mozzarella sticks rock.
our swing and miss on that led to our second appearance at Arby's a couple hours later. Whenever we were walking to the stadium, there's an Arby's like 3 blocks down from Lucas Oil Stadium, and I was like, "Hey, you want to go to Arby's?" Like, we didn't eat anything at White Castle because it sucked, so we went to Arby's, and it delivered again. Shouts out to Arby's yet again. Then we went to the show. Show got done. Then the real fucking highlight food place. This place was busy as shit. It was open until 3 a.m. It was called Goodfellas Pizzeria in Indianapolis, Indiana. It is damn good. It is so good, dude. They sell like pizzas by the slice. If you want a whole pizza, you can get a whole pizza. They sell these breadsticks that are fucking this long.
Fuck yeah.
It's one of the best pizza places I've ever eaten at. I didn't expect to stumble across a really good pizza place in Indianapolis of all places, but that pizza's pretty good. That was the highlight of the day. We went there after the show. We were probably there for about an hour and a half because the line was eternal because a lot of other people went there after the show. They got like a little bar in the back, which is pretty sweet. It's called a lounge, but they sell drinks and shit back there. You have to be 21 to get in, so it's cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 21 to get into the whole pizza place, just the back. But yeah, that was definitely the highlight food place, and that definitely saved us after the trip. We didn't get back to the hotel until like 2 a.m. But that place knows how to capitalize on the city because they were right down the street from a stretch of like 8 bars. Bars close at 2 usually, so them being open till 3, that's a brilliant fucking move. I bet they make a whole lot of late night money.
Yeah, 12 to 3 is 11 to 3 is definitely their prime time. That's like beach shit. That's awesome, dude. Well, I'm gonna comment. White Castle. I've never been to one. I wanted to go to one up until you just reviewed that. That's awful. And the only reason I ever wanted to go to one, if anybody knows White Castle, just look up their burgers. Their burgers are just plain sliders, and they come with grilled onions on them. I do not like onions. I don't want nothing on my burger but cheese, pickle, and bacon. But I don't want to pay $2. Remember, McDonald's, decrease that shit. So I don't think that if it wasn't for Harold and Kumar Visit White Castle, that movie was a staple of like teenhood for me for some reason, just because it was the epitome of stupid comedy. So it kind of burnt in my memory. Like, I could go there and get it without onions and it'd be okay. That's okay. I'd rather, like you said, if you could go to the grocery store and heat up those and then be similar, it's not worth it for me because
it was so mushy that I couldn't tell there were onions on it until I looked at what was on it.
That's even more disgusting. Yep. That is even more disgusting.
I don't mind onions, so it doesn't bother me what's on it, but I'm like, what on this thing is making it so bad? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's just constructed like a normal cheeseburger. But I can't tell because it all just tastes like nothing.
So it really is probably, like, most of it is just frozen and
it's
really terribly unthawed. Probably.
I'm sure they had other stuff that was good. Their breakfast stuff looked good. They had a couple of breakfast things that looked okay. They had like chicken sliders too. Those are probably all right.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you don't hear fucking Harold and Kumar Visit White Castle for their chicken sliders.
Yeah, they ordered a bunch of burgers, and goddamn, I don't know how they did it.
They order like 30 burgers and fries each.
Yeah, it's fucking bananas.
It's absolutely bananas. If you haven't checked that out, check that movie out. It's absolutely great. So is Harold and Kumar Escape. What is it?
Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. But on to the pizzeria. That sounds freaking absolutely great. What was the name? What Brothers Pizzeria?
Goodfellas is what it was.
Oh, Goodfellas Pizzeria. Yeah. That's a dope name.
It was.
Well, that's awesome.
It was a great place. And then we went to 2 bars. One of them.
How were the bars?
One of them was. They were both awesome. The people there were cool. The people in Indianapolis in general seemed very, very cool. They seemed like, I don't want to say they're like overly friendly or anything, but they weren't assholes.
Yeah,
which is a huge plus because I live around and near a good bit of assholes. There's a lot of pretty rude people here. But I didn't really encounter anybody rude there. Everybody that I did interact with was pretty nice, and most people just didn't interact. They just kind of stayed grouped with the people they were grouped with. But
wasn't causing problems.
Better that than being an asshole. I'll take that all day. But we went to this bar. It was just called. I just think it was just called the Pub Indianapolis. I'm pretty sure is what it was called. But it was nice. It wasn't anything too fancy. It was very Glenville pubish, and the people were nice and shit. They mix their drinks strong, dude. They mix their drinks strong. They're very reasonably priced. A lot of things are reasonably priced in Indiana. It's very nice.
That was my next question, was if they're mixing it strong, are they pricing it up? But
nope.
Good.
Nope.
Good.
Normal drink prices. Gas prices still in the city were under $3.
Their economy is very similar to the regions we both live in, I'm pretty sure. So that kind of makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me, I'm surprised everybody was nice. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not even, I don't even think
good.
it's that everybody was nice. It's just that everybody wasn't mean. It's just that everybody wasn't rude. Like,
well, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Like, people say that about people from West Virginia and towns in West Virginia, and I 100% believe that. But, like, okay, so, like, I've had shitty times in Pittsburgh. I don't know if I've had a rude encounter in Cambridge, Pennsylvania, though. Like, I don't know if I've had a really bad one in Washington, but, so, like,
right.
But it's cool that you were in there for multiple days and never really had any issues coming in. Because usually it's like a 24-hour thing for me, or less than usual.
Just everybody really stuck to themselves. It was kind of, I don't want to say it was weird, but it was cool. Like, it was really weird when I was the person making conversation with people.
Yeah.
Because I'm not normally the person to do that, but like we went back to the hotel bar after the show, which that's also a nice bar, but it was overpriced as hell. But anyway, we were in there, and I saw some people that were obviously, this was after the show Friday night, not Saturday, so I see them in there with all their wrestling stuff on. I'm like, oh, you guys going to the Rumble tomorrow? And then we would just sit there and chit chat about that for a little bit. But other than that, like, yeah, people didn't really go out of their way to like converse with people. They were just hanging out with who they were with and not really causing any problems.
As an adult, if it was 17 to 22-year-old me, I wouldn't have liked that, because like, at that point, I just wanted to be social and talk to anybody. I don't care. But now, like, being years into adulthood, I really respect, like, the only time I'm going out is to go out with the people that I'm out with. I don't have anybody, like, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm like, oh, I really need more friends in my life right now. So I'm going to go and meet a bunch of new people.
Right.
So that's a cool atmosphere to be in. That's cool for kind of a whole city to give you that atmosphere.
Yeah, dude, it was nice. I had a fucking blast there. It was a good time. It was, it wasn't much. It's weird. It wasn't much to look at driving in. Like, when you drive into Pittsburgh, you like, as soon as you cross the tunnel, you can see everything. You're like, damn. But Indy's so flat, like, you couldn't see anything. But once you get into it, you're like, oh wow, this is nice, and this is nice, and this is nice. The coolest place that we went, I wanted to save this for last. And this was the surprise that I didn't want to talk about on the other episodes. Mm-hmm. The coolest place that we went was Tapper's Arcade Bar.
Tapper, I'm going to look that up.
Yes.
And if I can find some non-copyrighted images, I will throw it up for everybody on here as well.
Yes, because I didn't take any because I was way too immersed in what I was doing. So you go there, they have reasonably priced drinks. I don't want to say they're cheap, but they're not super expensive. They have reasonably priced drinks. They have games fucking everywhere. They have classic arcade games all around the place. They have a front corner that's got a Nintendo Switch hooked up to a TV. They got another corner that's got a GameCube and an N64 and something else. So they got 3 TVs. There's something hooked up all to those. They've got all kinds of just old classic arcade games, pinball, everything like that.
I see this shit. This is so... Ty and Kevin, if you guys ever are watching these early episodes, this is like the bar that we went to in Cincinnati kind of hopped up on a little bit of juice.
Yeah, that place is nuts.
Just because from the pictures I'm seeing here, so the one that we went to in Cincinnati, I can't remember the name of it, Wyatt, but like it was 3 stories and it didn't have the amount of games this thing has right here. I can tell you that right now.
That place is crazy.
And the bar being centrally located is really unique. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's the first. It's like the first thing you see when you walk in is the bar. Yeah, like so you walk in, and what their deal is that everything there to play is free except for the pinball. The pinball just costs like quarters, I believe. But every arcade and video game there, other than pinball, that you can play is free to play. You just have to purchase 1 drink.
That is okay. That is not at all how it was for us in Cincinnati, so that is cool. I'm looking at this right now. If anybody isn't on these photos, if I find some to put up, I probably am not. You should just get on Google and do the street view because they had Google come in and literally walk through their place. So I'm doing a 360 tour of their place right now, and the amount of space this thing covers. I'm in the back. I'm up a little walkway. Oh, okay. Now I'm in their pinball. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have at least 26 to 28 pinball machines, with everything from Deadpool to Willy Wonka to The Hobbit and Stranger Things freaking in on it. This is wild, Wyatt. This is awesome.
They have all kinds of, and I saw
That's awesome.
signs where they do like specials and shit, or like special nights. Like they have a Guitar Hero night, like once a month, I think it is. It's like every first Thursday of the month. They do all kinds of cool shit, man. So it's like a really cool place. I'm very jealous I don't have something like that here.
Yeah.
If I lived there, I would spend so much money and time there. That place is so cool. It is right up my alley, dude. They sell beer and they have video games, and I think that's pretty cool. I like that
stuff's perfect for a weekend trip. Like, I don't think there's anything better than having that stuff vacation wise, just because, like you said, it would be easy to make that a habit.
Yeah.
They're offering too much. That's awesome. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
I know if I ever go back to Indy, with whoever I go with, I'm taking them there. And I know that they're bringing a couple more shows to Indy next year, I think, like big ones in Lucas Oil Stadium. And you know, if I am able to, I'm going to plan ahead and I'm going to go again because the city was fun. I did have a good time.
Well, heck yeah, I'm gonna add that on the list for me and Faith to check out for some reason. That is
if you ever have a reason to go there, like it sucks to say, there's not much of a reason to go there other than that. Other than if something's just going on. Like if you were to go see sports or a concert or a wrestling show or something like that would be the only, like, no offense to Indy, but it's not vacation destination. I mean, people know that. I live in a city that isn't vacation destination. That doesn't offend me. All the places I go are not vacation destination places, but I go there.
Yeah, that's actually too easy to do now that I think about it. But I think about sporting places. Most places with professional sports teams are not places to vacation. Like, let's just look at the NFL. Buffalo, New York, no. Baltimore, Maryland, no. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, no. Cleveland, Ohio, no. Cincinnati, Ohio, no. Well, I guess you do. Everyone in California, technically, you could do. I'm gonna say, Nevada, we could do. People aren't going to Houston, Texas, so I'm not counting Houston.
To all of them in California because we have a friend that lives in the
Sacramento.
one that nobody wants to go to.
Yeah. Although I would definitely check out some Sacramento Kings games. That is actually on my. I would love to do that sometime in my life.
De'Aaron Fox isn't there anymore.
He is not, but
Zach LaVine is, I think, right?
And so is DeMar DeRozan. I still like DeMar DeRozan. He's cool.
Is he still there?
Oh shit! I'm gonna be honest. I'm not kept up on basketball, guys. I may be off on this.
Dude,
My
I
bad.
just know that trade was big. I don't know
Oh.
everybody that was in it.
All right. Well, let's switch to it because I actually have a little conversation about that. So, if anybody has not paid attention to this, you probably aren't watching this podcast. Dude, the freaking Luka Doncic trade. I have so many layers to talk about on this. But just first off, like, what the freak happened? And what did the Mavs GM smoke the minute before he called? Because there is. Let me start it off with this. And I can throw this up here because I screenshotted this, and because I screenshotted this, I have the right to share it. If you guys go onto your NBA 2K game right now, well, right now they've probably updated it, but if you were to go on it this morning, 10 hours after it updated, and go on and try to file this trade,
It wouldn't
you
work.
would- yeah, it
Yeah,
would not
wouldn't
work.
No, there's
You
no
would get a
fucking way.
notification that says Luka Doncic is someone who is considered untouchable. The only way I accept a trade is for them is if I'm blown away, and this one doesn't do that, which is completely understandable because it doesn't blow me away either. Like,
No, when I read it, I
Crazy,
was
bro.
like, "What? What is?"
you
This
can't
gotta
do
be
it
some
in a
kind of prank.
video game, and yet this guy literally did it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I guess the Mavericks were concerned about his conditioning.
Yeah, you have off seasons.
I get it. I get it. Most times, under most players, he's not most players.
He's not most players.
Like-
He is not It's exactly the conversation I had with my little brother this morning about it, bro. He is not.
Yeah.
He's not most players.
They said he was up to like 270 or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, he's up to 270 at 6'9". Oh my goodness! You're telling me that under some real conditioning, he couldn't cut 5 pounds a week and be good, more than good, by the time postseason came around.
no, I don't like the Lakers. I'm pissed off about this. I don't want them to do well. But I think it would be the funniest shit ever if when Luka comes back from, I think he's hurt, if he comes back from his injury and he just looks fucking incredible. I think that would be the funniest thing on earth.
If what my first thought was, if the NBA scripted, they scripted this shit right because they are restarting the Celtics and Lakers rivalry right now.
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
that-
that's exactly what they're doing.
That's what's in my mind. Is it's not scripted. Anybody, it's not. But like, because just for context, anybody not paying attention to the NBA, he's upset with that. But also, the Mavs saved $114 million extra by trading him, and not on top of what his contract actually is. So they saved so much money they could buy half of their team back. So it is slightly understandable from a financial perspective. But dude, I'm just
That's the guy you pay though. Like that's
the guy.
yeah. That's a
That-
guy you
those
pay.
words
That's a guy you
are-
pay that money.
I was talking to Caleb about that on the way whenever I was bringing him in this morning, and that is exactly what he said. I said, Caleb, you don't have $300 million though to pay. He said, but if I did, I'd pay him. And I was like, you're right. You're right, man.
Yeah, but the Mavericks do, and they're not using
It's
it right.
just, oh my gosh, bro.
No, I don't think the NBA is scripted, but I do think they definitely make it a point to load up these larger market teams.
Yes,
I think
100.
I think they definitely push that on purpose. There's just no other way around it.
There's
like-
a little.
Like, watch LaMelo Ball keep doing well. He's going to wind up in New York or LA or Chicago or
Yeah.
Houston or just somewhere that has a lot of people that they can make a lot of money off of.
Somewhere that hasn't been good since. I'm not even. The Knicks have never. The Knicks haven't been good since the fucking
In a long time, yeah.
long time. I'm not counting any time with Carmelo or anything like. They were not
like
good.
like they haven't been champions in a long time. We'll
Yeah,
put it that way. Like they've
that's
they've
better
showed some
clarification.
promise here and there, but they haven't been
Never
champions
got
in
it
a
close.
minute.
Yeah, so that's just crazy. And for him to be as young as he is, like that's my point. And when this happened, when I read this, dude, when this broke, I looked at Faith because I was on the couch and I looked across. I said, "This will mean nothing to you, hun." and I know you don't know who he is. And then I just broke it down, and I talked about how me and you were watching him our senior year whenever he was destroying Euro players, and we were like, dude, this guy's passing is freaking
This guy's
insane.
incredible, yeah.
And then he got drafted, and then like I was just going through the timeline with her, and I said, this is the biggest trade that I have seen in the NBA in an extremely, extremely, extremely long time. Like,
Maybe ever. Like for us, maybe ever.
I can't think of one. I tried thinking of some, and this morning I was talking to Caleb about it because he's the expert right now, and he was like, nope, those weren't trades. Those people signed there. And I said,
like if there's been any big trades, they've been like off-season trades.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen a big, an in-season trade this giant in, like, I don't think in our lifetimes. Not that I know of.
No. And not one that's actually going to affect something. Like, you literally just took a championship caliber team and made two non-championship caliber teams in my eyes.
In one fell swoop. Yeah.
I do think the Lakers will win some championships with him because I don't think they're going to be dumb enough to let him leave. And I think they're going to make sure that he gets the people around him that is like, that provides that. He's going to do the same thing that LeBron was able to do with the organizations that he was on. They will build people around him properly.
You know, if I was Luka, I would. Mark Cuban still owns the Mavericks, right?
He's not majority owner. That's why it went through. That's what we're saying. That as soon as it happened, I told. She said, "Well, why did it happen?" I said, "Because Mark Cuban isn't the majority owner, or else he would not have allowed that." And I said he's 100% regretting that. And then I got on social media today, and it was like
the old clip, wasn't it? Like from 2020. He said if he had to choose between keeping Luka or keeping his wife, he'd be filing for divorce.
He'd be filing for divorce, and directly under that, there was a thing. One of the players texted him this morning and said, asked him about it or something, said, what just happened? And he said, I have no explanation, which means he most certainly did not know about this. This was more than a backdoor deal.
Yeah.
Like,
whoever is responsible for this, if I was Luka, I would be fucking livid. I would strangle that motherfucker. They cost him so much money. I know he's still making a ton anyway, and he's still going to make a shitload through his career anyway. But like you mentioned it earlier, the Mavs saved like 300. The Mavs saved a bunch of money.
110 to $114 million.
Yeah, I know they saved a bunch of money.
1 year.
He was due for like the Supermax extension or whatever, and they ruined that because they traded him. He now cannot get
have the time now.
Yeah, he cannot get that. Yeah, which I would. Oh, dude, I would have been hot. I would have been so fucking angry if I was him.
Dude, for me, I like the Mavs because the Mavs historically aren't good, so I like them, and I like
yeah.
But they have really good players, which is ironic.
And they've had a lot of them. They've had a lot of really good players.
They are the fucking team that has the foreign players, that gets the great Euro players. In the last 5 years, they got rid of Porzingis, NBA champion. Jalen Brunson, who's on the New York Knicks.
He's on the Knicks. I didn't know he was European, is he?
He's not European.
You're just giving an example. Oh, you're just giving an example.
Because he is leading the Knicks, and he's literally one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
Caleb brought that guy up to me, and I was like, man, I forgot about that guy. And he said, yeah, you might want to check him out.
Yeah, they just ship people off to succeed.
Yeah, and now it makes no freaking sense why, I don't know. It makes no sense. We're not even mentioning it. Anthony Davis, buddy, if you're watching this, your career really dropped off, and we're sorry for you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, dude. Holy.
If you would like, I will hire you to be my cat sitter. Tony, it's about tax season, so he'll be busy most of the day, but just feed him 5 times a day, 6 times a night, and that's all you got to do.
Is Tony an accountant?
Only during the tax season. Every other time,
okay.
Yeah, every other time he's a jet ski instructor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's got range.
He does. I mentioned it a few episodes ago. He is the producer of this podcast for any of our fans that are listening to it.
That is actually true.
Yeah, there's nothing that that we post or that we do that he doesn't get the paw up on because
he's the lead.
he's the lead. Exactly.
We need to put credits in here. Just executive producer Tony.
Tony.
That's
I'll,
Tony.
I'll work on that. Everybody,
Yeah,
if you're still, just scroll to the end. If you get bored, scroll to the end to see if I put that in there.
and then scroll right back.
And then scroll right back to whatever time this is. Oh, that's so funny.
I
That's-
definitely don't understand the trade. It's fucked. It's a whole bunch of people got shafted.
Dude, but the thing is, the Lakers. You lucky dogs, bro. How?
Yeah, dude. Who?
Oh my gosh.
Kinda
LeBron's
devil
about to
magic.
retire, and then you guys literally get.
They
this
said that's
kid-
okay.
Yeah.
They said you can leave now, sir.
Dude, they will. I bet that is on there. I bet that is one of the thoughts that they had. They were like, whew, we're good.
Yeah. They're like, all right, you can retire now, bro. You can get your kid and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, oh, dude, I bet they are so mad that they drafted that motherfucker.
What if that Luka trade happened and then they traded Bronny immediately?
I would.
And
No
then they're
offense
just
to him.
they just looked at LeBron and said, "What are you gonna do about it?" Leave?
Bronny needs to go back for his sophomore or junior year of college and get a degree. And that is not really because LeBron said it. Like, he's got my money. He'll never have to do anything. That's a terrible mindset, LeBron.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he really said that. He said he didn't have to go to the league. He wanted to play basketball. He's good. He's set. He wanted to do this. This is his life. And I was like, no.
I'm all for having a lot of money to, have your kids back if they need it and to leave to your kid when you die.
Yep.
But
And to give them growing up, but to be like, oh, he's 20 years old right now. And he
Yeah.
decided he wanted to go to the NBA. He could have stayed at the house. Mom and Dad's got him, I just, whenever I told Caleb this morning, like, I mean, like anybody that knows me, I am LeBron's biggest fan. Like, I have been riding that meat stick for a very long time, but I am getting sore because his mouth will not stop running. Okay? I don't want any jibber jabbering. I just want to enjoy the ride. And the ride is his basketball career, and he just, I don't know. He's not a cool person. Caleb asked me, do you think LeBron will ever coach? And I said no. I said LeBron's got too big of a head, and he's going to do too many things to make himself more known outside of basketball. The people that go on to coach that are great are the side role players. Jason Kidd, Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers.
yeah, you think LeBron's going to take coach money? Fuck out of here.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't think of that.
He would have to be the highest paid coach in history by far. He's not.
He would
doing
be
that
more
shit.
played than yeah.
He would never.
It just doesn't make sense for him.
Mm-mm.
Plus, it would just tarnish his career. Like he's. I don't know. In my
What if he
opinion,
was a coach and he sucked?
he could be like Michael Jordan. He could own the worst team historically in the NBA. Like
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
he's not the he sold the Bobcats. He sold the
Hornets.
majority stakes of them, or the Hornets. Yeah, he sold majority stakes a few years because they suck so bad.
Yeah, he said, "Fuck this noise."
He
I'm
still
fucking part of
owns
this."
a portion of them, but I'm pretty sure he sold majority stakes of them. Which is also why he dumped. If you notice, in the past 6 years, he's dumped a lot more time, money, and energy into NASCAR, and it's actually
Oh
paying off.
yeah. He's
It's actually paying off for him, bro.
Bubba
NASCAR.
Wallace's car or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 cars now.
Oh, does he? Yeah, he might.
I think he has 2 cars. I could also be wrong, but everything that I get, at least from NASCAR, is usually from NASCAR pages, just because I like hearing NASCAR. If you'd ever listen to a NASCAR podcast, get on there and listen to like Dale Jr.'s podcast. Dale Jr.'s is really good. Kurt Waltrip has one, or somebody around there. I know I've heard him on some. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, and then
I'm
after you
looking
do
it
that,
up,
come
but
back
yeah.
and listen to ours again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to ours a second time.
Yeah. You can even pause this and come back. Just make sure you come back.
Yeah, just come back. Or you
Just
might,
come back.
You might get your ass kicked.
Yeah, that Luka was really the biggest sports thing that I had, and actually the only sports thing. Actually, no, I didn't know. Only because I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I'm paying attention more to Tennessee sports because I work at the university, and then Kim is coaching for the Vols, obviously, the Lady Vols. Did you see that Tennessee is looking at getting a WNBA team?
Really?
Yes, I am super excited for it. Let me try to find my notes. I thought I wrote it down. It's in my phone here somewhere. But while I find the name of it, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think like if you want the league to grow, you have to actually grow it, right? Like, I mean, that's there's nowhere to go but up, I guess. Like, I don't know how many teams they have. I know it's not a lot. I know it's like 13, 14 maybe if I'm taking a wild guess.
I'll look it up real quick.
I don't know a lot about the WNBA, but
I used to make fun of the WNBA. I will still make fun of them because they say like I deserve what the NBA deserves. You guys don't deserve it. You got to look at proportional wage, work put
12.
in, time put in. You do not. So 12. So they're looking at a 13th. Well, that's awesome. Dude, for this 13th team, they're wanting to name the team the Tennessee Summit after the
Pat
Lady
Summit?
Vols. Yes.
it's pretty cool.
I think that is freaking sick.
Well,
I think that is so cool.
That will be, if they do that, that will be the 15th team because they currently have 12. The Golden State Valkyries will join the league in 25, and Toronto will join in 26.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that'll be 14, and then if they do that, that'll be 15, and there will probably be a 16 somewhere else.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Yeah, you want the league to grow, then you have to actually grow the league. You want more people to watch, you have to get more people watching. And women's basketball, just like every other sport, it's gonna keep growing. You know, the people are gonna keep getting better. You're eventually gonna have more pro level players.
Yep.
You get more teams. If you want more people to watch it and you want the more money, then you have to quite literally grow the league. It'll be something else in these cities for people to do, and then some people will go and they'll be like, "Oh shit, this is fun."
Yep.
You know?
And I hope I want all. This is just kind of a side note, but for all professional sports leagues, I want you to realize that like they're choosing Tennessee because they realize like, okay, like yeah, Tennessee does have a lot of people, but they're choosing markets that have not been capitalized in. And there are a lot of places, a lot of states, a lot of areas that have not been capitalized in, and it's easy for people to drive. It's a little easier for people to drive 2 hours for a game than it is for them to drive 4 to 6 hours for a game, and they're a little more willing to. I'm super excited for it only because as an adult there hasn't been one event of any like I can't name an event I've went to in my adulthood that I haven't enjoyed. Like getting out and just experiencing things is fun to any extent. It could be D3 basketball or it could be WNBA, NBA basketball. Like each one has its layer, and it's just cool to experience something different.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Something different. Like, I mean, I think it helps us that it's a lot easier for us to enjoy the little things than it is to, maybe some other people because we lived in the middle of nowhere. We didn't even have the little things. We had high school sports. We had our D2 college, but that, until they put in like the new facilities, that wasn't even like a D2 atmosphere. It just felt like another high school event. Like
it was
none of it felt, it felt different because it wasn't different for us, but I don't think it'd feel different for anybody. Like anybody could come out from out of town into town, and they wouldn't find very much stuff to do, and the stuff that they would find to do would be stuff that they could do where they're from.
Yep.
So it is cool. I think it's smart that they are not only getting the market that they haven't got yet, but they're getting one that they know for a fact loves women's basketball.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's just that's brilliant. I don't know how the hell there's not a WNBA team there already.
I think right now it's just proposed. Right now they put in they put in the paperwork for it. It's not actually fully approved yet, but I don't see how it won't be for the sole fact of
I don't either.
I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan. I think that girl is overrated. Even with seeing her dominate, I think she's overrated. But she has, like, there's been like 5 WNBA people that I can remember seeing on social media over the past year that I feel like have really helped propel that sport.
Oh my
and,
God,
like,
yeah, she did a lot.
women's basketball, but also WNBA into such a large thing. But then I feel like really discredited because, like, us being in high school, I can name more former WNBA players than I can NBA players. And I was watching the Candace Parker podcast, and she was talking about how bullshit it was that, like, she made a joke about it, but she was really upset about it. But she was actually upset about it. That the season after she retired, they get chartered planes and they get this and that, like, and I fully understand, because if anybody doesn't know who Candace Parker is, just look her up. Yeah, she, like, it's just to the extent of, it's crazy to me that the money is just now here. Like, I know why, like, I understand why you guys couldn't afford it, but it's crazy that it's just now here.
Yeah, she brought a lot of eyes to the game, to that league. Yeah, she brought a lot. So yeah, she's a draw. She's just got a lot of people watching. She's got a lot of people. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely remember a lot of the former ones. The weird thing is, I don't remember a lot of the former ones from their time in the WNBA. I remember it from their time in college. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like a lot of the former WNBA
I remember them
players.
with their. I remember them with their. Actually, I remember them with their color of with their color of uniforms. Because I have a hard time, probably up until last year, remembering the names of the WNBA teams. Aside from, like, the New York Liberty, the Aces, like, there were a few that were super easy, and you said there's only 10, so really
12.
I might only know 2 or 3 WNBA team names. I know a lot of locations, but I don't know names.
Yeah.
But their colors are always distinct, and they're very girly colors. Like, they make them feminine.
Other than the ones that rip the exact same colors that their other team uses.
Which ones do that?
Phoenix, I believe. LA,
really?
LA, I also think does it.
LA does. LA's the Sparks, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Phoenix honestly makes sense.
Phoenix is the Mercury, I think they are.
Yes, they are. They recently won the championship.
Yeah. Are their colors similar, or am I missing it? Okay.
They are exactly the same on. But honestly, it looks good. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing this right now. I'll put this. The worst trade. This, going back to the Mavs for a second. Hey, Mavs GM. This trade is so bad. Bro, I think this trade is the worst trade in the history of sports since we traded Phoenix Mercury Center. Or we traded for Phoenix Mercury Center from a Russian asset, I'll just say. Yeah. I think that this is a terrible. I didn't know that girl was on there, and seeing her now, that is hilarious.
That reminded you of that, yeah.
It reminded me of a very stupid political decision that we had made not too long ago, and gave up a freaking terrorist
gave up an arms
for
dealer
a 7-foot dyke. And I am calling her that because I very much dislike her, and she is nothing but a feminist POS. Not in the proper sense. She does not care about women's rights. She cares about just screaming at men because she is not pretty. It just happens.
That was a pretty bad trade, though, I think.
Dude, that was an awful trade. Not as bad as the Luka. I'll tell you what. Not as bad as the Luka trade.
I agree too. I don't think it is as bad as the Luka trade, man. God damn, that's why that guy is that guy fucked up. I don't know what, like, 270 pounds. You can't just be like, hey, why don't you fucking get in shape, brother?
Yeah. Hey, Luka, do you mind coming into the weight room just 30 minutes earlier a day to see the trainer? Just 30 minutes over a month period. They'll knock down 15 to 20 pounds.
Now, I would have started having a problem when his numbers started dropping. But if he's going out there and dropping fucking, I don't even know what his stats are this year, but if I'm going to take a guess, let's say, 25, 8, and 8.
Okay, that probably is. That's about what he averaged his entire career.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's about what he always averages, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's his career. Okay, well, here's the
okay,
thing.
sorry, 28, 8, and 8.
28, 8, and 8.
28, 28 points, 8.3 rebounds, 7.8 assists.
And
I don't give a shit what you weigh if you're putting up those numbers. I don't care if you're 400 fucking pounds. If you can come in there and put up those numbers and you can play basketball.
And he would put up those numbers because he is not let me fast break and play. He is a legitimate skill player.
Yeah.
So he toys with people and then he cashes in.
Yeah, it's real slow ball.
Yes. And he is fucking Kyrie Irving. So he doesn't have to worry about doing all the handles and the quickness. And we've already seen, me and you just talked about it earlier, he got drafted because he was the best passer in Europe, in all of Europe. And because of that, at age, 16 or 17?
Real young, yeah.
Yeah, he was stupid young. So, oh my goodness, dude.
Dude,
he is too good. He would not, it makes no sense. His numbers aren't gonna dwindle. And if his numbers dwindle, guess what? He's gonna go from doing 28, 8, and 8 to doing 22, 10, and 10. Or 22, 11, and 10, I bet.
I feel bad for Kyrie Irving, man, because Kyrie had an attitude problem for a good chunk of his career, and he got stuck in some unfortunate scenarios, I think, with the Nets, and then he gets to Dallas. It seems like he's finally got his head on straight, and he's just here to play basketball, and then
doing good,
and then
makes
this
it
happens.
Yep. Did you see? Well, he's out. He requested a trade.
Who? Kyrie did.
Yep, he requested a trade.
I fucking would have too. This is the one time
2 hours ago.
This is the one time I agree with him. Any other time he requested a trade, I'm like, oh, look at this fucking bitch. You know what I mean? Yeah, yep. I don't blame him. I would be livid. I would want the fuck out of there too. That's why he came there.
My Caleb said that the reason why they are, the reason that the GM, first of all, the GM forced Jason Kidd to be in the press conference that he announced us in. And Jason Kidd didn't know, so he found out when the GM announced it, sitting beside him. But the GM said something like, "I'm not looking for a championship in 6 or 7 years. I'm looking for 1 in 2 to 3." How much fucking sense does that make?
You're not looking too fucking hard.
I would have just went back and been like, okay. Let's look at Dirk. Does anybody regret having Dirk on the team as long as they did? No. Because he delivered. And Luka was going to do the same. And I'm just very upset with it all. It's disrespect across the league. It's disrespect in sports in general. The GM said this was his reasoning for saying that, Caleb said. It was something along the lines of I may not be here in 6 to 7 years. Jason Kidd won't be here in 6 to 7 years. We're looking for a championship now, not later. And I was like, bro, Jason, I'm surprised Jason didn't slap him, bro. That is just...
It would have gone off the fucking rails.
Oh, upsetting. I would have
been furious. I don't know. That guy is an asshole. He's an asshole and he's an idiot. And unless he wins a championship in 2 to 3 years... he's always going to be an asshole and an idiot.
Yep.
Because a moron, dude.
Yep.
That's
and I don't think he will. He would not.
No, how the hell is he going to? With who?
Bro, you're losing Kyrie, so you have Klay Thompson and Anthony Davis. Congratulations.
And the people that you still have probably don't want to play there anymore.
Not now.
Anthony Davis probably doesn't want to play there. He probably didn't want to play anywhere but LA to begin with. He seemed to be pretty set up.
I would be happy with. First of all, he needed to stay with LeBron until LeBron retired, and yeah, I would. It's a lose-lose for everybody. This GM literally made the dumbest. He was like, "Hey, bosses, I don't like my job. Do you want to fire me? Let me make the dumbest move in the world." Because they got back to him and said,
Mavs GM just quiet quitting. That's awesome.
Well, he told the board, basically, he said, guys, I don't want this job. And they said, buddy, You're not bad. We're not.
Yeah.
We didn't win the finals, but we made it last year. You're okay." And he said, "Okay, well, let me fuck this up."
Yeah, he's like,
and then
"Are
he
you sure
went
about
and
it?"
just he ruined their entire 10-year plan that they had built. Like, it's bro, so crazy, so crazy.
That's nuts. That's nuts. So you make one of the best trades ever when you on draft night when you swap Trae Young for Luka. No disrespect to Trae Young, he's good too, but I think Luka's better. And then you get rid of him after doing nothing.
It makes no sense. Like it's weird. This is how I know it's major, because it's the first time I've thought about basketball for a very large portion of my day, multiple times today. Like, I've thought about this since last night. I've thought about this, and I haven't done this since. I didn't care this much when LeBron went to the Lakers. I was like, man, you pussy ass fucking.
Yeah,
I was more mad because he wanted to go to be a movie star, not like. Yeah, it's just crazy. Everybody is. I'm excited to see what happens. I don't like the Lakers. You said it earlier. Not a fan of the Lakers. I think that this does do what I had mentioned earlier, and it reignites the Lakers Celtics rivalry that hasn't been brewing since the 80s.
That'd be pretty cool.
I that would be cool to see. Just because I hate both equally now that I think about it. So I'm kind of a fan of both if they play each other in the finals. I really don't care one way or another.
Yeah, honestly.
And it would be a good game because, well, it would just be a good game, I think. If Luka had a team around him, like he had a team in the Mavs, but they just did not play good last season in the finals for some reason. They were just trash.
You know what's funny? I pay so little of attention to basketball, I had no idea they were in the finals.
They made it to the finals.
I just know the Celtics won. That's the only thing that I knew.
Oh, I think the Celtics won 4-1. I think they beat them 4-1.
Yeah, I had no idea they played the Mavs. I
know
probably knew at the time. I didn't know now.
I know why. Last June, there was a video going around of this same cunt of a GM for the Mavs. Luka Doncic just won the Western Conference MVP. He's holding his freaking Western Conference MVP trophy while he's having a beer. And first of all, this man is large because he's holding a regular, like can size.
Yeah.
But it's a beer, and he is he's just taking a sip, and the GM takes it from him as soon as he walks in the door. And I just keep thinking back to that. Like, that is. Did you see that?
I do remember that now that you mention it. Yeah.
He just took it, and Luka was like. But there's just a flash, like there's the flash of his trophy there, and it amazes me that, bro, I would have. He's European. I'm surprised he didn't slap him. Like,
dude, that GM sucks. I hate that guy.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I bet he gets fired within the month. It's a new month. I bet he gets fired within February.
I think if he doesn't, then you surely fire him in the offseason, right? Like, there's no way you don't.
Yeah, if you don't, it's only to save money or face. One of the two.
Yeah.
And then you get rid of him in the offseason for the sole fact of my 17-year-old brother would have made a better GM.
I think anybody would have. I don't think there's very many people on planet Earth that would have pulled the trigger on that trade.
Well, you know what's really ironic? Technically now, you can get GM experience in 2K. So, really, a lot of these kids really might be intelligent enough to be like, bro, we don't have the cap space, we don't have the ring.
Yeah, we can't do this.
Dude, like, they might know what to do. Oh, that'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. Oh.
That's about all I had for this week. If you have anything else,
Oh yeah, I just got some random stuff.
Sprinkler in there.
Well, just because I work at the college, we could save this for another time. But I just thought about now that we're out of college and we're pretty experienced, like I was thinking about the benefits, the positive and the negatives of going to college, of going to university, and getting a degree, straight out of high school specifically. But with the events that's unfolded in the past 24 hours and just some information that we've both come across, I thought it would be I thought it'd be cool to just transition because it's kind of a point that I had thought of whenever I was thinking about positive and negatives of being in college at a young age. Of well, we're 27, and I'm just thinking like the benefits of growing as a person, and by that I mean like I think it's really cool. I have a different mindset now than what I probably did 3 or 4 years ago, and like I find it so much more acceptable to let go and to just completely to have nothing to do with people that not bring me no benefit, but most certainly bring a lot of stress and worry, and
actively make your life more difficult.
yeah. And I figured this would be something that we could talk about just because everybody can relate to this in general, because as you grow up and you get older, you realize, oh, okay, oh, shoot, I'm not having to spend 8 hours a day around this guy in high school. So, like, you get a little more sense of, oh, okay, well, we're not in high school, so this is the person you actually are. And on top of that, these are the things, you know.
And then sometimes you still don't find those things out for a long time.
It can be very, very, and that's the biggest thing is like it's never ending. Like, there are people that I haven't talked to that I was like, man, I knew 2 or 3 years out of high school. I was like, I'm glad I don't associate with them, only because I wouldn't be in as good of a spot as I am, and I don't think I'd be as good of a person as I am. And then now looking at it, I'm like, dude, there are even like I literally have nobody around me that I don't. Like, in a non-negative way, you don't need to actually gain something from a person, meaning like, you know, physically gain something, but
yeah, they don't need to literally do shit for you and give
you
shit, yeah.
But you need to gain something from that person, whether it be peace of mind, happiness, communication, friendship, memories, whatever it may be. You need to, as an adult, there's no reason for us to have that, to have anybody that does anything opposite of that in there. No. And just, I don't know. I've really just been thinking about it, dude. Since you had texted me, like, it's just ironic. It's ironic how fast things can change. It's your point of view on somebody can change.
Yes, it can happen like that.
Like,
yeah.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with you then, like, if you're listening, or we're talking about us specifically, but, like, there's nothing wrong with us just immediately like, dude, identifying that issue and being like, whatever I have to do, if it's what were we talking about earlier when we said it's a short-term inconvenience for a long-term peace of mind, and losing friends suck, especially, you know, if they're people that you think you can count on, or not friends, family, whoever it may be. But like, I don't know. I'm very excited because I started then thinking about like, I don't know. It goes to like, how much more peace of mind are you gonna have not having like, or like, is somebody gonna have not having that problem child, that problem issue, in their life all the time, or even if they're not causing problems, the thing about our adults are that, like, or at least for me, we have so many things to worry about. Like, I have so many things that I'm constantly thinking about anyways. I hate that, like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking about this person being an issue, even when they're not an actual issue. Like,
yeah. Like, if you know that you're about to have to see somebody that, you don't enjoy seeing, that you know you're just gonna have a bad time around, you don't even have to be there yet. You get like pre-mad. You're like,
yeah, you already
are. I don't want to fucking go. I want to go here. I don't want to go there. I don't want to see this motherfucker. Yeah, it's bad, dude. Yeah. It's bad. Some people will do that. Yeah, stay away from those people, especially as you get older. Like he said, as you get older and you're out of high school, you don't have to. In high school, you kind of have to. It kind of fucking sucks. If you have one of those people at work, you kind of have to, but you can deal with that. Like, there's HR nowadays, but you don't have to be around that. Do whatever you can to leave it.
Yeah. I just
get yourself a temporary studio and leave your mic arm at home.
You don't need that mic arm. You can do it without it. You got it. Keep going.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, Yeah, sometimes you just never know people, until you do, and sometimes it'll blow your fucking mind. That's the thing. I thought when I was younger, or not even when I was younger, I thought this year, I'm like, damn, you know what? Like for the most part, my friends that I have now are the same friends that I'll have probably forever. But then I think there's still times in life where you get along and you realize like, oh, you have that's who they really like. Sometimes you still figure shit out that when you thought you had everything figured out. So, like, I don't think you ever know everything about anybody, I guess, put it that way. But
No, not.
I'm not saying don't trust people, but notice the red flags.
Yeah, make yourself aware and definitely take note of them. Don't forget about them.
Because if you ignore them, they eventually get way more red than you ever possibly thought they could.
Yep. And but then to the opposite, dude, I was like, man, I'm so lucky because like I can't think of a person that, like, there's now one person that I can think of that like I'm cutting out in the past probably 2 years of my life.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And it's making me reflect even more on like, man, I don't keep a lot of people around me. I think I know I have a lot of people that care about me and a lot of people I care about, but I don't keep a lot of people close to me. And then I start thinking about the friendships that I do have and like the values and the personalities that each one have and like the reasons why I like them. Like we could, like the Skinners are a good example, and I'm saying both of them because Caleb and Seth both are very, very good friends of mine, but for completely opposite reasons because they're completely different people. And
yeah,
I personally gain different things from both of them, and quote unquote like wisdom, and I get advice from both of them that is very, that's just in different avenues, and it helps me immensely because the mindset is so it's just mixed. It's not one minded, so I'm not like, oh yeah, it's
right.
I don't know. It's just really cool. So within that, also, it's cool to appreciate the people that we get to keep in our lives.
The ones you have that don't fucking suck.
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
the ones that you get to do a podcast with every week and look forward to it and write with. And,
Absolutely.
They're like. Dude, freaking Kevin messaged me for the first time. He messaged me last week on Facebook. I'm just throwing this in there because we're talking about good friends. He messaged me. He said, hey, buddy, I know I haven't talked to you in probably over a month, if not more. I'm sorry for that, but I'm looking forward to golf season. And I was just like,
dude.
That's adulthood. That's adulthood friendships really. Right there. That's when you're like,
in a nutshell.
The time's coming around, and it's just like, it's so ironic. When he sent me that, I started thinking, I was like, man, the difference in wintertime as a child and an adult. As an adult, all I think about, or at least right now, all I think about is keeping Layla warm, going to work, and golfing. Dude, I'm going to bleep this next word out, but when we were younger, it felt like the only thing that wintertime was about was freaking bro. Like,
that's true. That's not what I thought you were gonna say. That's right. That's true. 100%.
I guess I don't have to bleep it out because most people won't know what it is unless you know what it is.
Even if you do know what it is, it's like that was also 10 years ago. We're grown men who attempt to take pretty good care of ourselves. Yeah,
yes.
We behave.
We wouldn't be saying the shit on the internet if
the worst thing that we do, and by we I mean me, is maybe get a little bit too hammered at the bar like twice a year. And that's probably about it.
Mine's about once a year whenever I can make it to a casino, which I get to do next weekend for Valentine's Day. So I'm
nice.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, that I had that in there. I have a few more things. Just like, first of all, cost to raise a kid is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to get into it because I can get into finances at any point because finances are what I don't know. I just pay attention to my finances and then gold and silver prices. That's also, I'm excited to talk about that to you guys. Eventually, gold and silver, pay attention to it. So buy yourself some silver, guys. But, dude, on average, the freaking, since 2015, I believe it is. If you want to look it up, anybody, whatever, it's on you. I'm getting mine from the USDA. But since 2015, the average inflation per year is 2.9%. 2.9% inflation per year since 2015, over a decade now. So whenever you add that up, it brings. I did the math yesterday, and I can't remember, but it basically brings like $230,000 up to like $315,000. But within doing that, I was going to talk about the price to raise a child. It's estimated that that's the price is between $315 and like $360 now to raise a kid for 17 years. But what I really want to talk about is the inflation percentage of 2.9%, because that affects us so much to the bottom dollar that, like, if anybody is watching this and wants to understand why, like, think about this. You make $36,000 a year. It takes you 4 years to get a $3,000 raise. 2.9% each year, you are losing 2.9% of your income, basically, because everything outside in your life is costing that much more. But the reason why I started thinking about this is because I just started thinking about the past few years for me specifically, and I was like, man, this makes a lot of sense why I feel like I'm struggling so much more now than what I did whenever I lived on River Street on $8,000 a year and my extracurricular activity money. Like, it made no sense. You
used to be
crazy.
the store. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, I used to be the store.
Yeah. way back in the day, you were the store. That's pretty cool.
That is the freaking best. Oh my gosh. But anyways, that is the best. Oh my gosh. Just 2.9% per year is absolutely ridiculous because nobody's getting 2.9% raise. But on average, we are increasing over the past 4 years, medical costs, so like your insurance cost for jobs, is increasing. So on top of inflation and on top of medical costs, like our paychecks are getting smaller, like more than one way, and it's just crazy. And I think we all should pay attention to it because we're all voting adults now. And me personally, I've put too much focus on federal politics, and probably in the past 6 years, I would say, and not enough on state. So I need to start doing my job as a citizen and paying a lot more to my my local politicians and the ones that directly affect me a little more.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just always got to throw in a finance something because I'm always thinking about it. And right now, it was interest rates per year. That was crazy.
That's good to know. That's good to know. It's glad that I'm not just crazy. I thought I was just getting more financially irresponsible. No, that's not right. I mean, I am a little bit, but it's good to know that it's not just me.
Yeah. No, not at all. It's not just you. Because I was actually thinking about it too. Like, I made no money last year. I got my W-2s now. I made less money than what I thought I did. But I'm still living, and I'm still alive, and I'm still got a really good life around me, and I've got toys and new silver and a baby, and so I'm like, it could be worse.
I'll tell you what. If the Mavericks GM is out there listening to this right now, I will trade him this canister that has 1 or 2 wipes in it. I will trade him the rest of this Powerade and another one that is unopened, different flavor. This empty Red Bull can. And you know what? He doesn't get the cards, but actually, no, he can get the cards. I'll just get them replaced. He can also have my wallet. And he can have all of that stuff if he were to give us, say, about $115 million. Is that what he just saved?
I think, you know what, we'll say, for sure, 110. So 110. We'll each just take 55 from you, buddy. Yeah. Now, we are not located where you are, so our taxes are a whole lot lower, so we actually expect a lot more in our paycheck.
Yeah, and also, Jocelyn might get mad at me for it, but I will also throw in this rubber duck that also does not belong to me.
Oh no. I'm gonna be honest. That rubber duck better get you the deal. I have something that I want to throw in. I had it in last week. I just want to throw it to you. Or I think I sent it to you. Can you look in your photos? It's going to be. Actually, I don't see it, so let me send it to you. So just for a backstory for everybody, what I am sending is a sculpture. The sculpture.
No, you sent me that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you have that?
I can't find it, but I remember getting it because I remember scrolling through those pictures thinking, what the fuck is this thing? But I don't see it on there now.
Okay, well, I'm going to resend it, and I'll throw it up here right now. I'm going to give some backstory to this. And I'm going to... The reason why I'm going to... I'll talk about the reason why I'm throwing it in here and why I wanted to talk to Wyatt about it. So, this is from the sculptor Ian Norbury, and it is titled The Bureaucrat. Okay. It's made out of wood, blah, 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 blah. It's beautiful. Really incredible. Wyatt, does that not look like fucking Ari Shaffir? Does that not look like Ari Shaffir?
God.
Bro, I saw that and
It does.
I was like, bro, I have seen Ari make this face. This is his money smelling face. He knows this. He knows somebody has dropped a quarter and he is looking for it. I am.
The funniest thing is if he heard that, he'd probably fucking love that joke.
Oh,
he's like, he's right. He's right.
It's just so wild to me. I don't know how it popped up on like my For Me page on Instagram or something. I think it's because it knew I wanted to make fun of something. It's beautiful work of art, but I think
that is a good sculpture. That is a good sculpture, but
that is too ironic. Like, I'm going to throw a picture up beside this for everybody to see Ari. Like, compare it for me, please.
No disrespect to Ari Shaffir. He's great. He's funny as shit.
He's freaking awesome.
If you don't know who he is, watch him on Netflix. And if you know who he is and you don't like him, then you can have one of those. He's funny.
Yeah. What is it? I'll look it up right now. He's got check out America's Sweetheart by
that's
Ari
what
Shaffir.
it is. I couldn't remember it.
America's Sweetheart. I knew it was something America, but it's odd that he put Sweetheart because I would have never thought of him. Like, that's just weird.
Yeah, that's the one that we talked about with all the plants and stuff. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's his $85,000 freaking plant. Everybody check out that wall. At least just Google that wall and you'll be like, oh, that's what $85,000 in plants looks like?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Because that's what that looks like. Yeah, that's honestly about it, man. I'm looking forward to next week. Hopefully I'll have something else going on. I don't know. If not, then we'll at least we'll just talk about our daily lives and maybe upset a few people, say some few jokes, and carry on from there.
And there is a chance if you're able, episode 7 might have to be recorded this week because just there's a possibility that during the normal week that we would be filming episode 7, I could potentially be moving. So fingers crossed.
That'd be awesome.
Fingers crossed, but
yeah. Well, everybody pay attention there for next week. Next week, I watched a few shows I could review there for this week, but they were all crap, and I don't want to give crap reviews. I want to give good reviews. So next week I will review a story from the Grimm's Brothers fairy tale book, which, if nobody knows, look it up. They are the original writings that Walt Disney got his inspirations for all of his stories from. They are from the early to mid 1800s. They are all basically, they're not horror stories, but they're basically horror stories because in the 1800s, you had like a 5% chance to live past the age of 5, and life sucked, so everybody was cruel. And I'm super excited to talk about one of the stories I'm going to read in it.
nice.
Yes.
My review this week was the whole event that I went to, and I'm not going to repeat it because it was a giant chunk. Go back and watch it again. It was cool. It was eventful. It was Indianapolis. It was but yeah, next week I don't know what I'm reviewing, but I will find something.
Yeah, we'll find something. I plan on golfing, so I'll talk about golfing here next week.
It is about that time.
Today. I was going to golf today because it was 60 degrees outside, but the course was full of the college golfers, so I didn't even have a place that I could really walk without feeling super embarrassed about my slices.
We will get there very soon for sure.
Yes, I'm very excited. We'll do a couple things from that.
Yes.
A couple podcasts from the course or a course. I don't have anything that I want to complain about today. So my second thoughts, I'm just gonna say, it's good to move on from people. It's good to grow as a person. I'm super excited that we both have realized what we have realized. I'm super excited for the next chapter in your life, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm very excited for you and your female partner. I am also. I want to shout out that what is that pizzeria again? I want to shout that.
Oh,
place out.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas
It's
Pizzeria.
awesome.
We're gonna give you a shout out.
The people
we're
were cool in a very high stress work environment, full of a whole bunch of drunk people that just left a wrestling show. So
Well, heck yeah.
congratulations to all you guys. You earned your money that night. I hope that place pays you well. It should. It is a very nice place.
And what was that arcade bar that you were talking about there?
Tappers. Tappers was also good. Go there.
Tappers, and
Yeah.
In Indianapolis and Indiana.
Tappers
I'm going
Arcade
to give
Bar.
you a
is the
shout
name
out.
of it.
Come on, you guys, check that out. Look it up on Google, like I had said. It's worth looking at. And if you're ever in the area, you're definitely going to go. If you do one of the two things, drink or arcade, or both.
Yeah.
And check out the store in Ohio.
Yes, check out.
I'm going to shout out the store.
There are some stores in Ohio. If you're ever in Ohio, you can check them
Yep.
out. The stores, I believe, are also in New Jersey, Nevada, California, just to name a few. They're in a few places. But yeah, check out the stores for sure. And
Yep.
if the Mavs GM stumbles across this, get back to me about that trade. I'll be willing to negotiate maybe a couple $1 million here or there if you're not willing to do the full 115. But the way I see it, if you're willing to throw away Luka Doncic, I could probably pull at least $5 million from you for a couple paper clips and a bag of chips or something. So get back to me about that.
Yep. Hey, we're both willing to lose 5 pounds for that paycheck as well. He's not, but we are.
Yeah, no, I'll lose as much weight as you need me to, man. To
Yep.
give me just like a little bit of that check. I won't play basketball for you. You seem like an asshole and an idiot, but I'll do it for money.
I'm really bad at basketball now, and especially compared to a NBA player. But my hands are soft because I don't work outside anymore. So I'm sure we could come up with something.
All right.
Well, with that, guys, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you all next week.